Eat biscuits, and welcome back again. So, we're talking about libraries and how Maury here became a library aide. So, why don't you finish that story, and then I'll tell mine.
Well, yeah, like senior year at my high school, you're allowed to either you can take an off period, and then you can also be an aide. And so a lot of students will take an off period and be an aide because depending on the teacher who you're aiding for, there might as well be a second off period.
That's cool.
And so I had two choices senior year to be my aide for. It was either Mr. Curran, who was the Spanish teacher, or the librarian. And Mr. Curran was one of my reasons because he was the coolest teacher I had. Even though I barely passed Spanish, could barely speak a lick of it.
My male Spanish teacher was a douche, Mr. Flood, Senior Flood. And then he ended up becoming vice principal and then principal after the principal before him became the superintendent. And it was worse. Mr. Campo. And I had Mr. Campo and Senior Flood, who both fucking hated me, and that were the authoritarians. And, oh god, it's the worst.
Well, Mr. Curran was pretty cool, and like the thing about Mr. Curran is that like most of the class liked him, but there's always those students who are like, I'm going to rebel against everybody. And so I remember what happened is that we had a god awful substitute one day, and some kids like, I'm gonna take out some alcohol and start drinking in class.
That's crazy.
And so the substitute just let that happen. Wow. And then the next day when Mr. Curran was back, a bunch of the ROTC kids, and I was like, I'm not gonna let Mr. Curran be disrespected like this. And so we told him, and like the next day it's like, you might notice a few missing students.
Did he eat him?
And he was like, Mr. Curran was like, that day it was like big angry parent energy. And I was like, I didn't do nothing wrong, but I still felt bad.
Like, parents are angry because the kids got kicked out for drinking in class, and like, why are the parents mad at the teachers?
No, I mean like Mr. Curran had the.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like
a disapproving.
What was the parent mad about that he kicked him out of the class because he was drinking? Like, you know what I mean? Like all the times I got kicked out of class, I fucking deserved it. You know, like.
But yeah, like he got kicked out of the class, and then he got moved to the we had a sister school that was like for misbehaving kids, so he got moved to that school for a few months.
Oh, nice. You're gonna go to the bad school, kid, the bad kids school.
And like, I was just kind of angry on Mr. Curran's behalf because like Mr. Curran was too cool for you to be doing that type of crap to him.
So
I wanted to be his aide,
right,
or the librarians, and he already had like a bunch of students lined up. So it's like, all right, I'll be the librarians, because it made sense because one, I couldn't even speak Spanish. So I was like, I wouldn't be able to help him with Spanish stuff, so it didn't really make sense for me to be his aide. So I went and got turned into the librarian's aide, and did pretty much nothing for most of the year.
It's the library.
The library aides.
That's a plum
the library aides stocked the shelves, which took like 15 minutes. Right. And then just the two things we really did were stock the shelves, check in and out books, and then whenever the class needed like a class of the books, we would do that too. But otherwise, we were doing nothing, so we just played video games on the computers all day.
No, that's a good
Not
deal.
Bad.
And
I loved having student aides. It was the best because they did all of my work for me.
And since I was in the library all the time, I got to read even more than I normally did. So I was reading like a book a day when I was in the library.
Yeah, that sounds excellent. I just had my kids assign every detention in the building.
We found out freshman year that our librarian was in a porno with horses.
Awesome.
And it was called Robin Head.
Oh my god.
And nobody could ever fucking take her seriously after we found that shit out. And when our class went to graduate, somebody found the fucking porno and put it up on all of the fucking computers in
my god.
the library. It was insane.
Destroyed their life.
Pretty much.
Never. Yeah, let that be a lesson to you kids. Never jerk off a horse on
Yeah, I
camera.
think that was like minimal. I only caught like a few seconds of it, but it was like, oh my god. Nope.
People don't forget.
People.
That's
will
not,
not
like
forget.
that's like. I feel like that's something you would be that would be found out when you were getting hired. Like how was that? How was she not exposed? What's your thing?
No, this.
Well, that's not something that like prevents you from working.
Right.
That's not a crime to like make porn.
Well,
it's not.
well depending on the state,
illegal.
bestiality is illegal.
True.
Well, it depends on what they did. It might have just been, for only farmers and that was just animal husbandry. You know how farmers be.
You know them farm fam. Yeah, I said it. Whoa!
Ask your mom about it.
No, hell no. Oh my
Hell
god.
Listen, horses got
Right.
needs. and
Farmers fulfill those needs.
farmers gotta help them out.
Oh, I need an oil. Oh, that's what the whale oil thing is. I gotcha.
That's what the chain was for, Mr. Teleport.
But I teleport. I don't need the chain.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, believe it or not all the states are so puritanical that people that work in porn can never work again.
Well, that's not. It's just the bestiality aspect of it. Is what I would.
Get in the cart, ride it.
But
Cue the Mario Kart.
Do
music.
do. Oh wait, that's the bridge over the River Kwai.
that is not. That's not
Hold on.
correct.
Find some public domain stuff.
I'll just put Patrickos? I don't know. I'm butchering his name now.
Oh man, that reminds me that I need to get Mario Kart for my Switch.
That's the guy who does all of our intro and outro music. Because it's. Well,
I think
I'm
he did
saying
for
he
us.
did because then I feel special.
Aw,
Shout out to
shout out
Patty
to Patty.
Poop.
Shout out to Patty.
Old Patty boy.
Tag
I will, I'll
him in
tag
this one.
Patricios.
Thanks for all the public domain music. You get to be featured in the episode we talk about your
Bestiality. Fucking torn librarians.
That's what it is to just try and get the attention of some, public domain music celebrity. It really is just jacking off horses. They're such inspirations. Your girthy
Your
town makes life
girthy
possible.
talent. Indeed.
Oh my god. Oh my god, my stuff hurts.
I want to be known for my. Oh God!
I'm having trouble breathing.
Oh, Jesus!
He's gonna herniate.
I want to be known for my girthy talent one day. That'd be great.
I think on my record book for tally marks, I've made people throw up from laughing, pee from laughing, and I think poop from fright. It's a great list to start keeping track
I'm
of.
gonna have to add
That would be
Thank
a
you.
new
that. I don't want to add it to the list.
like
I gave someone an asthma attack.
the
talking about
devil's
horse.
fucking tally man over here. When the day comes, he's gonna be standing there with his paper like, well, you made 6 people pee themselves from laughter. 1 guy shit himself from fright. Sarge started puking, laughing till he puked.
Half of them.
I
are my
did that to
brother.
my brother too. I made it my little brother. I made him laugh so hard for so long. He was in the car on the way back home, and he fucking puked
died.
everywhere in the back of the car, and for 5 minutes, Dad was like, "No, stop! Just he's gonna throw up. stop, just leave him alone, don't say anything. And I was just like, all right, and then just kept going. And then eventually, he puked everywhere.
Like, you know when you've got a nerve in your hand.
It was great.
Yeah.
And then, I guess I should shut off the spotlights. He just fucking puked everywhere.
Like,
and Dad was like, get the fuck out of the car. And he kicked me out like 4 or 5 miles from home. And I fucking walked back home. I was like, oh yeah,
I
it was
hope the
a
weather was
crisp
nice.
autumn evening in New Jersey. It was perfect walking weather. I was just cackling to myself.
Down in the corn belt.
Oh my god, I need our cover.
Oh, I missed
Hey,
the dog.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
The dog was pretty cool.
Oh, I got him. Gotta get that dog.
Okay. I'm good now.
Find that center.
Find that center.
Going
Close
to
to your
the
horse cock.
going to the stop.
Brian starts choking over there too. Oh, I'm gonna find some good images
I'm
for
good.
this episode.
Get a picture of Patrick.
Yeah, I gotta find Patrick.
Put him in there.
Patrick Patricios.
Like, get it off his Spotify profile. Or his
His
LinkedIn.
Glassdoor profile.
My god. Getting back to the reason why I was thinking
Horse
about
cock?
my library job in
Right.
school.
The library, that's
Yeah,
right.
the
That's how this all
library.
started.
Yes, that's how this started. The reason why I was thinking about this because I was thinking
So
about
you
how
were working for this porn star.
Stop.
No, that was me, Brian.
No, my librarian was a very nice person. All right, who had nothing wrong with her. Pure
There's
souls.
nothing wrong with doing porn
Wait
either.
a
It's
minute.
not like she was a monster or anything.
Yeah, that's all in good fun. Man.
And capitalism and free will.
Yeah, you got to be sex positive.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
Thank you.
All right, well, there was no conspiracies or nothing about my librarian.
Yeah, no one ever discovered the porn.
Yeah.
The only thing about my librarian was that half the people at my school thought she was a student. Because she was in her 40s, but she looked like she was
Oh,
like.
so she started like kinky Japanese porn. That's why.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm just.
Hey, listen,
Listening.
no one will ever find out what you may or may not have started with her.
It all depends on if you use a pseudonym or not.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna finish this thought.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a story
The
happening.
reason why I was thinking about my library job is because I was thinking about whenever I go to college, I want to continue like reading a book a day.
A book a
I'm all
day?
about fiction, so
Oof.
yes.
Okay.
In high school, I was reading like
That's a
a
good way to
novel.
go.
Man, okay. That's lofty ambitions. I mean, I read a lot of books, and I still can't do a book a day.
Well, it wasn't even that it was lofty for me. It was just how fast I read.
Ooh, pinky out when you talk about that one.
I wasn't even trying. No, the thing is, like, no, I'm not trying. Like, it's just. Oh my god.
I'm just fucking with you. You're
It's just
fine.
how-
Don't worry about it.
It's just how it. It's just how it.
I
ended
mean-
up. Because like I didn't try to read that
You
fast.
gotta have. You gotta have sympathy here. Here he is sitting in the library with this 20-something looking,
Experience.
experienced older
Who
woman.
may or may not have done kinky Japanese
Looking over the rim,
porn.
over
Don't
the,
forget that.
looking over the tops of her like horn-rimmed glasses at him. He's like just flipping through books, like check
Right.
this out, and she's like, "Ooh,
I'm just
I can
Jesus
shelf
Christ.
that."
She's like, I can show you something to do with chopsticks.
I also loved working in the library. When I was substituting, I would just hang out in the library in between like coverages for class, and I would just be. I ate my way through the entire comic book collection they had.
Oh yeah, my library had a
I
manga
didn't
and
need-
comic book section.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I feel like I was the only person reading them too.
Oh yeah.
So I would just pick them
senior
off the
year,
shelf.
I
and like,
worked in the library. So senior year, I knew who was reading them. I learned who was reading them. It was one dude.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't one dude. Like some people would check out a few at a time, but like there was this one guy. He would go to the section and take the entire series at once and check it out.
Oh yeah.
And then come back like a week later. Here
And
you go.
some of the pages are stuck together.
depends on the manga.
Yeah. Maybe if they've got those
maybe
big
for dessert.
hands that we were talking about.
Listen, self-love is
It
important.
is. There's nothing wrong with it. As much as most religions would have you believe.
Or at least
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I've been trying to say now for like 10 minutes is my college library sucks.
Oh, that was the point?
Yes, that's why I started talking about my high school library. My high school library is because my college library sucked.
Oh yeah, that's a shame, man.
It's
so. So you got to go work there. You got to bring sex
you go.
back to the
oh
library.
my god.
Bring sex back to the library. Ah!
You got to
hi,
keep
everybody.
that profession hot.
Dead.
Wow.
Instantly.
You just teleport into
that
a
was
Tesla
a bad
cannon.
idea.
Okay.
Classic.
Strike number one for my college library is it's sorted by the Congress style, which is dumb. I think it's dumb. I hate it.
So it's like history, fiction.
No, Congress style
biography.
is it's like what is it? It's
Dewey Decimal.
no,
isn't
it's not. It's not.
It should be, dude. Right.
Dewey Decimal makes so much
Congress
sense.
style is like
It's like the only
author.
system.
I think it's by author name.
Oh. That's well, I mean,
And
that's
it's
what
like
Dewey Decimal is too.
It's like
isn't it?
numbered and crap. It's weird. I don't remember.
Well,
it's weird.
it's section and then author.
Gotcha.
That's Dewey Decimal.
No, the
So
college
then
one
you
is
like,
just author.
you're like, I want to find history.
Right.
books.
It's
Oof.
like history, then author.
But-
So
Gotcha.
you literally,
But
so you are dependent on these dumpy ass librarians. They're shoving
and
in
then
your face.
they do have some
These
sections because like,
threes
you
and
have
fours.
classes that need the same book, so they'll sometimes put those together. But the thing that really angered me with this library was that they have the nonfiction and the fiction, right? But it's the college library, so what ends up happening is that the entire library is nonfiction, basically, and then they have one shelf. It's fiction is terribly sorted. I can't figure out what the hell everything is. And I look at it and I'm like, these books are like 8 years old. Please give me new fiction. And it's like, no.
Hey man, old fiction is some of the best fiction.
I'm all about new fiction now.
Like Clockwork Orange. Yeah. Dude, that's what I did in my high school library. It's like I discovered Clockwork Orange and Dune.
Do you count that as old
Clockwork
fiction?
Orange? I mean,
That's from
it's
the
not
modern era.
new. It's from like the fucking 70s.
That's still the modern literature movement.
Yeah.
Like, old fiction's like Don Quixote and
Alright.
Gilgamesh.
Well, anyway, that's what I did in my library.
I think the oldest things that I read, like on my own, because I wanted to, was I read, what was it called? Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. It's a book that a lot of high schools will assign to their students, but we never got assigned it.
The Giver.
The Giver.
Night.
It was oh my god, what was it called? It was about a war and how everybody's kind of like super crazy in the book. I forget what it's called. Oh my god.
I mean, that's a lot.
Starship
So,
Troopers.
yeah, Starship Troopers.
It's about World War II. It's about World War II. Everybody's kind of crazy. It makes a lot. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But what's it called? Oh my god, my brain hurts. Do I have a note? I'm gonna see if my phone has a note about this.
World War II wasn't about the soldiers, like All Quiet on the Western
That was
Front.
good. It was good.
I am going to find. I have a note tab about all the books I want to own. And so, Catch-22. There you go.
Yeah, okay.
I discovered Catch-22 on my own and loved it. And apparently there's a sequel for it that I'm not going to read because I don't feel like it. But I discovered Catch-22 in, like, American Gods, I think it's the other book I discovered.
It's one of Neal Gaiman's best works.
Yeah, I discovered that and read that on my own and loved it too.
I go back to that book like probably every 3 or 4 months. It's one of those books for me. I fucking love Shadow,
the thing
man.
About me is that, like, whilst I don't normally read older fiction, whenever I'm forced to read it, I usually like it.
But see, he considers old fiction stuff that's like 8 years old. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
because I'm 19.
Right.
Like, everything that was written in the last century is still considered modern fiction in terms of the movement, not counting postmodern fiction. Like, before that, you had the Romantic era with, like, Frankenstein. So when you say, like, anything that was written post-Frankenstein, that's basically just considered
So
modern.
where was Mary Shelley's?
so-
Is that 1800s or before that?
Yeah, late 1800s
So-
was Mary Shelley. And then if you want to get into, like, examples of postmodern, that'd be, like, House of Leaves,
What,
stuff like that.
So then where's Lovecraft
Or,
in there? Is that romantic or is that modern?
He was New
But that was
Gothic.
around the same time as the same timeline.
Or also he could fall into the New Weird category. The New Weird ended up being kind of like a side movement or a subgenre of fiction. Like, I think he turned into a legit subgenre when he basically put together like cosmic horror and weird fiction. I think he also falls under, like, dark fantasy,
I typically don't.
but he would still be
Some of
modern.
I typically don't go pre-Frankenstein just because once you start going pre-Frankenstein, the English starts getting exceptionally hard to understand.
yeah.
That's more like Chaucer
It
and
can do,
Canterbury
yeah.
Tales. That was where, like, it was kind of funky.
Like,
Like,
I can understand Frankenstein pretty well, but there's still some parts where it's like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm-
like that stuff. It could definitely
Like,
do with an update.
I remember reading
but
Frankenstein in high
there's
school.
some things that are
I
like
loved it.
Speaking of update,
like the 1910s and 20s. ends
yeah,
up being a really
Robinson
good era
Crusoe,
for, like,
fucking
stuff. Like
Treasure
John
Island, Conan, all
Conan.
the books about pirates and shit, man. Like, and speaking of,
I'm trying to think of.
I just got an
was
update
so
for
much
Robinson Crusoe, or he's actually a werewolf. Hold on, let me look, because you'd probably get a kick out of this, Brian. Like, let me get who wrote this?
Yeah, like all that pulpy 1920s, like sword and
Yeah.
space kind of stuff.
I'm trying to think of what was the book I liked the most that we were forced to read in high school.
Oh, you might like, for one of the oldest things, you might like actually. was it
Oh, that's
Last
a
of
good
the
one.
Mohicans?
What's it called?
Last of the Mohicans.
Last of the Mohicans. It was.
It's
Who was
the
that?
eerie,
Used $274. No, I'm good.
the eerie adventures of the lycanthrope Robinson Crusoe by Peter Clines, who is an amazing nowadays
Nice.
modern sci-fi writer. He does some incredible fucking works, man. He also actually another series that you might like that he does is it's superheroes during the post-apocalypse with zombies. And it's like most people obviously turn into zombies, and there's gangs and all this other shit, but there's evil supervillains and then the superheroes, and they're trying to like figure out how to survive and save the people that are already zombies and shit. It's pretty good.
What's the name of it?
I think
thinking
it's
of
called
books.
I think it's called Superheroes. Let me just check here real quick. I have like almost every book
Oh,
Peter
yeah,
Clines has written. I love his work.
I found the book that I liked the most from the ones I was forced to read in high school. My favorite was Of Mice and Men. I love that
The
book.
X-Heroes is what it's called.
Okay.
There's like
Type of-
7 or 8 for that, and then he has another series that starts with a book called 14, 1-4, and it turns into this like Cthulhu-esque style space warping extra dimensional shit, but it's like very alternate reality paradox, and it's like the room number 14 in this apartment complex this guy moves into is always locked, and then he eventually gets in there and there's like crazy fucking shit happens and stuff. But it's pretty anything by Peter Klein's. Like if you just look it up and you're like, that sounds interesting, it's gonna be really good. Like he's such a good author, man.
Though I'm pretty particular, despite reading a lot of books. I think I'm particular just because I've read so many books. But
yeah, a book a day you would have to be.
But like for me, it's just when it comes to books, I'm really specific about which ones I like. And so like one of the ones that's a kind of an outlier for me, that wouldn't be liked by my normal standards for books, is Of Mice and Men.
Oh yeah, with Lenny.
Yeah.
Tell me about the rabbits, George.
I love Of Mice and Men. We had to read the book and the play.
Dude, it's a great book.
And then watch the movie.
It's fucking sad, man. Like it's a great book.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
love
so
that book.
Sad.
But that's the thing right there. It's super sad, and usually for me personally, I do not read stuff that's super sad. I just don't.
Did you read the Holden Caulfield book, Catcher in the Rye? Yeah.
Catcher in the Rye.
I think I might have read Catcher in the Rye.
If you liked Of Mice and Men, you would
might
like
talk
Catcher
about
in the Rye. That's a really interesting, like, cerebral take on a fucking 17-year-old kid's mind in, like, the 40s and 50s. We're
Well,
all
like,
prostitutes.
The thing about
We're all fucking prostitutes.
26 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to get to this last goal here.
the thing about Of Mice and Men is like, yeah, it's super sad, and I usually don't read books like that because I just don't like to be put in that mindset.
What, sad?
I'd rather read something that makes me happy than read something that makes me super
Yeah.
sad.
But you need the stuff that makes you think, though.
Well, if it helps, apparently listening to sad music and reading sad stories has a net gain on your like happiness over time. So you will become happier if you read sad stories.
I'm pretty sure that's just because, like, hey, my life isn't this bad.
That's the hope.
That's the hope. But I usually try to stay away from books like that. And also just because I read so many books. A lot of books have crap endings.
Oh, yeah.
Just bad endings.
Alright.
And so, like, in high school, I got really, really irritated at books having bad endings. And so, like, it got to the point where I would read the ending first to see if I approved of it, and then read the rest of the book.
Oh, you can't do that, because you'll just take everything out of context.
No, the thing is, like,
That is.
I learned, the thing for me is, like, I had, signifiers for me. That was something, is if I'm going to like this book. And usually, by just reading the ending, I could figure out if I was going to like the book or not. And most of the time, it worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a weird system.
That's a crazy
I don't do
one.
it anymore. I did it in high school just because I was reading so many books that it didn't really bother me that much. I forget most of the books I read anyway because I just read
That's
so many.
like this girl that I knew in I was like elementary school or something, and she would read books upside down and backwards because she said she read so much manga she couldn't read books any other way. I'm like, you're reading American books though. It's upside down and backwards. That makes no sense. She's like, whatever, I just do the thing. It's like, okay.
She's dyslexic.
But we'll see what happens later on the next episode. Bye, everybody.